So we're live. It's on Facebook Live. It's not on Snapchat. And we're going to do question and answer tonight. So as I was just telling you guys, the best way to think of a question is to think of something that is bothering you. Shihan Dunn is one of my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors. He used to say, what's bothering me now? So if you have something that's bothering you, that would be the thing to focus on. Like in Jiu-Jitsu, there are hundreds, thousands of things really that you could be dealing with at any given time, and it's overwhelming. And your meditation practice and your martial arts practice is really the same, and life is the same. So instead of thinking about all the things that you're having a hard time with or dealing with, just choose the one that's most prevalent, the one that is like, right now, I want to focus on this, and then ask about it. So, what is your question? And you're going to raise your hand. Yes, Dave?
Why meditate?
Why meditate? Oh man, I don't have enough time to answer that question. Why meditate? I'm gonna respond with my own question. Why not meditate? So I'll tell you why not meditate. Because you're lazy. We're getting to this place that is really interesting in humanity, which is most people, at least in like largely populated areas, have heard about meditation and know that it's good for them. Now, there are a lot of people in the world who have not heard about meditation or have heard about it and they're like, that's against my religion, I'm never gonna meditate. We had some parents back in Michigan come in. Michigan is a little bit less like open-minded than California, but still pretty open-minded. We'd have people come into the school every once in a while and say like, you guys meditate here, you're trying to brainwash my kid. That's devil worshiping. And we have to explain like, no ma'am, meditation is non-denominational and there's no religion that says, I don't breathe, we don't do that in my religion. So there's this interesting place now where I feel like more and more people, at least, understand that meditation is good for them. I will dive a little bit into that, but I know that question for you is probably not so much like, what's the point of meditating? Like, I don't get it. And most people who are at this school hear me blab on about how great meditation is pretty often. But a few things. One, you will be able to focus your mind and you will be able to concentrate on things for much longer, much more completely and much more deeply than you ever could before meditation. And it is like honing your mind. So your mind is like a dull blade. It's dulled by all of the things that we run into in life. The radio's on, the TV's on, people are talking, there's noise, the traffic is going by, and it is just like everything is distraction. And even the way that we eat, the way that we live, society is designed in many ways to dull us. And so you want to take your dulled blade of your mind and hone it, and you want to make it razor sharp, and meditation is one of the things that does that. So it's going to help keep you not only completely focused, but also present in the moment. And I think one of the most difficult things to do in life right now, especially when you've got your cell phone on you at any given time, you can just like pull it out and just scroll through the news or your Facebook feed or whatever, and you should stop and watch our meditation talks when you're doing that. But there is so much of an opportunity at any given second to just be like sucked away into Neverland and not be present. I remember like a year ago, I was just waiting for an elevator and I pulled out my phone because I knew that I was going to be sitting there for 10 seconds waiting for the elevator to come, and I thought, well, I can't just sit here for 10 seconds. I got to get on Facebook. And then I thought, this is terrible. If I'm doing that, I know the rest of the world is definitely just like not in the moment at all. So I put away my phone. So it's going to make you present, and it's going to make you happy. The only place and time that you can be happy is here and now. And meditation really teaches us this. Like, if you are caught up in worrying about things that are coming in the future and this anxiety, or you are caught up in worrying about things that happened in the past, you can't be happy in those places. You can only be happy right here. And being present, being in the moment, focusing on one breath is key. And if you can take that out into the rest of your life, then, I mean, you have it. That's it. Like, that is the key to happiness and success in life, is being present and not allowing yourself to constantly be pulled off track mentally, emotionally. So, and then there are lots of other reasons, like tons of science behind how great meditation is for you. They've actually done autopsies on monks' brains, and especially monks who do compassion meditation. And they've seen, like, the physical structure of the brain is changed, and the dark matter, is that it? The gray matter, the gray matter, the part of the brain that in the area that's associated with compassion is actually denser. So we know that what you focus on, and we know that what you do with your brain has these actual lasting physical impacts. So if you think about that in comparison to what normally people are thinking about, which is just whatever happens to be on TV or whatever happens to be on the radio or whatever the person sitting next to you is saying, it's a very different way of living and being with your thoughts. So the reason why people don't meditate is because they make excuses. And they say to themselves, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time for that. I don't have 5 minutes a day to meditate. And it's ridiculous. You know it's ridiculous. If you are one of those people saying, I don't have time to meditate, not even 5 minutes, not even 10 minutes, just get up 5 minutes earlier. Get up 10 minutes earlier. Watch 10 minutes less TV. And it is like, well, it's hard. It's so hard. Meditation is difficult. Yeah, it is. That's the point. If it were easy, then you would already have all of the concentration and focus and, being in the present that you would need. So a big part of the effectiveness of meditation is the challenge to it. And when it comes down to it, you just need to kind of decide, this is what I'm going to do. This is the kind of person that I am, or at least the kind of person that I'm choosing to be, is the kind of person who actually sets aside a few minutes a day to still the mind, to get more focused, to be in the moment, to discipline my mind and my thoughts and my emotions so that I can be the way that I want to be. And maybe it's for myself, maybe it's for the other people in my life, but it is something that requires a base amount of commitment. And that is something that a lot of people have a difficult time doing. I mean, there are always so many options and things to do with your time and your attention, but to commit to something and really say, I'm going to do this every single day, consistently, then it'll make changes. You're going to be transformed as a person. And that's really the first step, is to be consistent with it. So if you can set aside 10 minutes a day, every day for 6 months, you meditate like that, come back and tell me that it didn't do anything, and then we'll figure out what happened. Other question? Helen.
How did meditation change your practice of martial arts?
Ooh. So I'll talk about, in general, I guess, the relationship between meditation and martial arts, and then I'll talk about myself specifically. So the question about how did meditation change my practice, I'll get to in a minute. But meditation and martial arts are almost like two sides of a coin. There is no real practice of martial arts without meditation. And you can meditate by itself, but you are missing a physical component, like not that it has to be martially effective practice, but something that is involving the body as well as the mind. And this is kind of like what the idea of Zen is based on, is the mind and the body together. And a lot of people don't know this, but the legendary founder of Kung Fu, the first true martial art, is the same founder of Zen Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, who came to China from India and found the Shaolin monks in meditation getting lazy and fat, and he said, we're going to start doing not only meditation and not only transcribing scriptures and chanting and all of that, but also add a physical element to it as well. So ever since the very beginning, they've been together. And you cannot practice martial arts without having the mental component. A lot of people practice punching and kicking or self-defense, and they say it's a martial art. And at some point, it probably was a martial art. At some point, way back when, there was a meditation, a mindfulness, a mental discipline component to it. But oftentimes, unfortunately, especially in this country, it's taken out because people think it's too religious. My students aren't ready for that, or they never learned it themselves, so they never teach it, which is really unfortunate. But I do, because Sifu Brown, my teacher, I'm incredibly lucky and blessed to have had him as a teacher for over 16 years now. There is no compromise with him. It's got to be real, and it's got to be the way that it always has been. So meditation is a huge part of our practice. And when I came to his school, I had practiced a few years of Taekwondo before that, which was nice and fun, but there was no meditation in my practice, and I didn't really get it on that level. And so when I came into his school and I heard him talking about all of these ways that martial arts changes your life, and especially with meditation and the spirituality and the mental component of it, I thought, oh, this is different. This is new. This is cool. And I went to a meditation class, and I sat there, and this is one of my very first classes, and I didn't really know what to expect. I'd never meditated before. And I was sitting, and within the first couple of minutes, I had that first moment of clarity where for just a split second, my thoughts melted away, and I was just there with the breath. And it was the first time that I could ever remember being awake and not just having 1,000 thoughts in my head at any given time. And then, of course, as soon as I had that moment of clarity and I recognized it, it was gone, because I started thinking, oh, that was so cool. I can't believe I just got so clear. And then it was gone. I was thinking about how great it was and how great I was. And then at the end of that meditation, I was curled up against a wall in the fetal position because I was so new. I couldn't even sit for 15 minutes without moving. It was painful for me. This is why I suggest that you guys sit on something like cushions. But from that first meditation, and from hearing Sifu Brown talk about it, I knew that this was something that I really was craving, was this ability to discipline my mind and to be present and to really be happy and to choose my mental state at any given time. So that was the part that really got me to want to meditate. It wasn't the idea that, oh, meditation is going to make me better at martial arts. But through practice over the first couple of months and years, I really started to have the experience of that connection. And martial arts, in its truest form, is a moving meditation. And especially if you're doing something very dynamic like sparring or free grappling, where there are all these different options, and at any given time, if your mind wanders, you're going to get hit, or you're going to accidentally hit your partner when you don't want to, or you'll get choked and you'll have to tap. In drills like that, you must be completely present. You cannot allow your mind to wander, because if it goes for this long, you're done. So I started to recognize that in my practice, and the actual physical practice has a similar feel in the way that it hones your brain to the meditation side of practice. But again, you have to do both, and you start to see it in both, but really the time that you spend the most and focus the most on the mental side of your practice, the internal part of your practice, is in sitting meditation. And then it's going to start to leak out into your physical practice. And you'll notice that you're just more in the moment, more focused. So for me, it was, I would say, around like year one when I started to spar. And I loved sparring, even though I wasn't great at it. But I saw the parallel so strong with being present with my physical practice or the consequences, and being present with my meditation practice, and seeing the way that in both of those, focusing on the sensation of my breath and my body was able to bring me back to the moment. And in meditation, you're starting to become aware of your thoughts and your anxieties, and you just let those go. Don't be attached to them, and you come back to the breath. And in sparring, you get the same thing. You're confronted with, when you get hit, you have these thoughts of, I suck at sparring, and my partner just hit me, and that's embarrassing, and how come I'm so bad at this, and am I ever going to get better? And all of those thoughts, and all of that is the ego. And in the moment, all there is to do is let those thoughts go and be in the moment with your partner. Because if you're stuck on those thoughts and you're attached, then you get hit. Other question. I probably have time for like a half of one more question.
You suggested the time to meditate. I meditate normally once I wake up every day for about 15 minutes to 10 minutes. Is there a better time, or does it really matter?
Yes, it does matter. And it's going to be different for everybody. And you need to experiment. So the question is, when is the best time to meditate? And you want to meditate when you're not super tired. If you are falling asleep, you're sleepitating, like if you come out of your meditation and you were like this, then that was not meditation. You were kidding yourself. And if you're constantly like nodding off like that, you need to meditate different. So for some people, meditating first thing in the morning is the best time. For me, it's usually the best time if I got a decent amount of sleep the night before. For other people, it's like, I don't sleep well, and when I wake up, I can't do anything until I've had my coffee, and I don't really wake up till I'm halfway to work in the car, and I realize, okay, this day is happening, here we go. And so for those people, maybe meditating at night before they go to sleep is better. And for a lot of people, actually going to sleep is difficult, and they're all wound up from the day, and they need the meditation to calm their mind and calm their body and slow the breathing. So that's great too. For some people, it's in the middle of the day, afternoon. My suggestion is you don't meditate immediately after eating, because the energy in your body is going to digestion. You have a tendency to get tired, and it's also more difficult to breathe fully from the belly when you're meditating, which is important. So right after eating is not great. You also shouldn't meditate when you're starving. Now, some people love to fast and meditate in conjunction with that, and there's definitely something to that. But if your primary experience is, I'm so starving that I can't think of anything else and my stomach literally hurts right now, then meditation can be difficult then too. And then there are some people who swear that you should wake up at 4 in the morning and meditate then, because your mind is in a certain wavelength. And when you meditate at that time, it's perfect. You'll actually slip right into the perfect state of meditation. And I agree with that too, depending on who you are. If I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I am not meditating. I'm pissed off because I'm on my way to the airport, and I don't want to be awake right then. But what you want to do is do all of the above. Meditate in the morning, meditate at night, meditate in the afternoon. Find a time that works for you. But most importantly is be consistent with it. And I would say a good minimum time to do it would be 10 minutes. And if you can start with 10 minutes once a day, then you can move to 10 minutes twice a day, and then start to up your time. If you are having a difficult time being consistent with your meditation, then it is even more important to choose the same time each day to meditate. And you could do what Miss Macy's doing, which is she has some times that she does meditate consistently, and then she has like other times which it might depend on what's going on that day. But she's got like that guaranteed meditation that I'm doing. And when I first started, that's what I did. I had my guaranteed meditation in the morning, right after I woke up. before I did anything else that day, and then I had my guaranteed meditation that I did at night. Right before I went to bed, it was the last thing that I did. And it's really nice to bookend your day like that with meditation, because you wake up and the first thing that you're doing is centering yourself, clearing your mind, getting yourself into the state that you want to be in. And the last thing that you're doing before you go to sleep, and allowing your body to kind of be with whatever state you're in all night long. You want to be able to clear your mind and slow down the thoughts and settle your body down. So those two are the times that I usually do the most consistently. And the main reason for that just goes back to the beginning of my practice, which was I was having a difficult time in the very beginning establishing my meditation practice. So I just decided, well, I know if I do it in the morning before I do anything else, that it's going to be done. Yeah. And I know if I don't allow myself to go to sleep until I've meditated, that it's done. And even if it's only 10 minutes, it's still good. It is progress. So it's got to become a habit. It's got to become something that you do every single day, no matter what. And it's like, if you are not in the hospital in a coma, you meditate. Because if you have the strength to brush your teeth or to take a shower or do whatever else it is that you do in that day, you have the strength and the wherewithal to sit and meditate. And if you think about it like with the toothbrushing analogy, we all brush our teeth. If you don't brush your teeth, that's disgusting. But we recognize the importance of dental hygiene and cleaning your teeth and keeping them from falling out of your skull. Yet we don't treat our mind with the same care. It's like you know that you should clean out your mind. Your mind is at least as important as your teeth. But, well, everyone brushes their teeth. Everyone should meditate. And imagine what the world would be like if we all placed the same amount of importance on, your mental state, clearing your mind and keeping your thoughts disciplining your emotions. Imagine what kind of state our country would be in if people actually did that consistently.
Religion comes into place.
Yeah.
That's hard for other people to understand.
For some people, their religion is like I was raised, and this is what I do for my religious practice, and I get that. And that is, there's no reason why you should say I have to put aside my religion in order to meditate, because the kind of meditation that you can do does not have to fly in the face of anything in your faith. It's just sitting and breathing, and it's clearing your mind. And some people say, well, yeah, that's nice, but I pray instead. I pray every morning and I pray every night. Great, you should do that. And meditation will make your prayer even better, because you'll be more focused and in the moment when you're praying. But that's a divergence. Stop it. So my point is, find the time, be consistent with it. Be very consistent with it. Do it for 6 months, and then at the end of that time, you will see a difference. And if you don't see a difference, I very much hesitate telling you to do this, but you're going to do it anyways at some point in your life and in your practice. There will be a time where you skip meditation, or you don't have the ability to do it for a few days for whatever reason, and you will start going insane. You will start recognizing all the crazy things that are going on in your head that you have not been taking control over, and you are going to really appreciate what meditation has done. And sometimes it's not until we stop doing it that we recognize how important and useful it really was. So tonight we're going to sit and meditate, and your job today is to just, for the time that we have, be here and follow the breath, keep your body still, and the rest will happen. Sit comfortably.